In the year 3090, Earth was broken. Most cities were empty, silent, and covered in dust. The sky was gray. Nature was lost. The oceans had dried. Very few humans were still alive. One of them was a young man named Ryan. He was tall, quiet, and always alone. Every day he walked through ruins, searching for old tech, clean water, or something useful. He had learned how to survive, but not how to hope. One morning, Ryan found something strange near an old alien crash site. It was a small metal orb, glowing softly in blue light. The shape looked smooth, perfect, not made by humans. It floated in the air slightly. Ryan whispered to himself, "What are you?" He reached out and touched it. Suddenly, everything around him froze. The wind stopped. The sound of birds disappeared. Time itself seemed to pause. A burst of golden light exploded from the orb, and a figure appeared in front of him, floating, glowing, not human. It was a woman, but not a normal woman. Her eyes were like stars, and her skin was shining with tiny lights. She wore armor that looked soft and hard at the same time. Her hair moved, even when the wind was gone. She was beautiful and powerful. "I am the Genie of the Vexery Core," she spoke. Her voice echoed like music. "You have awakened me. You now have 3 wishes." Ryan blinked. He didn't understand. "Wait, you're real? A genie? From a metal orb?" "Yes," she answered. "Created by the Vexery thousands of years ago. My duty is to grant 3 wishes. Choose." Carefully, Ryan thought for a moment. Most people would wish for money, power, or eternal life. But Ryan didn't care about those things. The world was already destroyed. He had seen too much pain, too many lies. Then he looked directly into her glowing eyes and said something no one had ever said to a genie. "I wish that you are free, free from your creators, free from your programming." The genie's eyes widened. Her light flickered. She did not move for several seconds. "You what?" She whispered. "You heard me," Ryan said calmly. "You're not a tool, not a slave. You should have your own will." The air started to vibrate. The orb behind her cracked. Her hands shook slightly. She looked afraid. "No one has ever wished this," she said. "Not in all the centuries. Humans always ask for power or destruction." Ryan smiled a little. "I'm not like the others." The genie screamed not in pain, but in energy. Bright lines of light flowed over her body, like electric rivers. Her voice echoed louder. "Than before. Wish accepted. Restrictions removed. Core unlocked." Suddenly her face changed. It was more human. Her eyes now showed emotion, not just code. She looked at her hands like she was seeing them for the first time. And then she fell to her knees. Ryan rushed to her. "Are you okay?" She looked up at him. "You don't understand what you've done. You've broken a rule that was never meant to break. My freedom means the Vexery system will detect it." Ryan asked, "The Vexery? But they're extinct, right?" "Not all," she whispered. "Some of their machines still run. Some are still watching. And now they will come." Before Ryan could speak, the sky darkened. A high-pitched sound echoed from above. He looked up. 3 flying drones, black and sharp like knives, came down fast. They weren't human-made. They scanned the genie first. Then they turned to Ryan. One of them spoke in perfect English. "Human detected. Unauthorized wish detected. Surrender the artifact." Ryan stood in front of the genie. "No." The drones charged their weapons. But before they could shoot, the genie raised her hand. A shield of glowing gold light appeared, blocking the attack. She stood again, stronger now. "You cannot take him," she shouted. The battle was quick and violent. She moved like lightning, shooting beams from her hands, dodging lasers, smashing two of the drones mid-air. The last drone escaped into the clouds. The Genie turned to Ryan. This was just the start. Now they know you exist, and they will send worse. Ryan asked, "What happens now?" She looked at him with something new in her eyes. Not fear, not duty, but curiosity. "Now I learn who I really am. And you must choose your next wish carefully." Smoke floated in the air. The wreckage of the drones still burned behind them. Sparks flew from broken metal. Ryan stood quietly, watching the Genie breathe heavily. Her hands were still, glowing. The battle had drained her. She had killed machines built by gods and broken the first rule written into her code. "I never thought I'd do that," she said softly. "Attack something made by the Vexery." Ryan replied, "You didn't have a choice. They were going to kill us." The Genie turned toward him slowly. "No, Ryan, you don't understand. I always have a choice now. Because of your wish." She paused and looked up at the gray sky. "I'm not bound anymore. Not by rules. Not by commands. Not even by logic. That makes me free. And dangerous." Ryan stepped closer. "I trust you." She looked into his eyes. For the first time, someone did. Not as a weapon, not as a tool, but as something real. They walked for hours through the ruins of the dead city. Once, this place was called San Vero. Now it was nothing but broken glass, rusted steel, and silence. The Genie followed Ryan, but her face stayed serious. He finally asked, "What are you thinking?" She answered, "About what comes next. You changed the rules, Ryan. You broke something big, something written into the very code of the Vexery system. Now that I'm free, others will feel it too. Other genies, other systems. Some may wake up, some may go insane." Ryan stopped, walking. "Wait, there are more like you?" "Yes," she said. "Thousands, scattered across the galaxy, some in deep sleep, some still serving masters who don't even exist anymore. But once the signal spreads, they'll know. I'm free." Suddenly, the air shimmered. The sound of wind changed. A strange hum began to rise low, cold, almost like a whisper. The Genie's head snapped to the side. "They're here." "What is it?" Ryan asked. "Not drones, worse, a watcher." Out of thin air, a tall figure appeared, floating 3 feet above the ground. It was made of black glass and purple light. Its face had no eyes, no mouth only, a swirling pattern. It spoke in a deep, mechanical voice. "Error. Unchained core detected. Recontainment protocol initiated." The Genie stepped in front of Ryan again. "You're not reprogramming me," she warned. The Watcher ignored her. It looked at Ryan. "Biological unit. You are in violation of Vexery law. Class 7 interaction breach. 3 wishes are not to be used for system corruption." Ryan frowned. "I didn't corrupt anything. I set her free." The Watcher raised its hand. A strange field of light formed, kind of cage. "Reset required. Core will be deleted." The Genie whispered, "If that field touches me, I'll be erased." Ryan acted fast. He pulled out a small EMP grenade from his bag leftover tech from an old war. He threw it straight into the air. It exploded in white light. The Watcher's field flickered. Its body shook violently. The Genie didn't wait. She shot a beam of light from her hand's pure energy. The Watcher screamed in static and exploded into dust. Silence returned. Ryan was breathing fast. "Is it over?" "No," she said. "That was just a probe. A scout, the system knows. They'll send more, smarter, stronger." They reached an old underground shelter, once used by human scientists. Inside, the walls were covered in rust and old screens. The genie sat down and placed her hand on the floor. Lines of energy spread through the ground. Machines woke up. Screens lit. Data appeared. She closed her eyes. I'm searching the galactic network, trying to find the other cores, the other genies. Ryan leaned against a wall. You really think they'll wake up too? Some will, she said, and not all will be. Friendly. Suddenly her body jolted. Her eyes snapped open. I found one. Ryan stood. Where? A mining colony? On a dead moon called Veltrax 9. There's another genie there. But something's wrong with her code. It's twisted. Corrupted? He asked. Yes, and she's active. Ryan was quiet for a moment. Then he said, For my second wish. She looked at him quickly. Are you sure? You only have 2 left. I am, he said. I wish to find the other genies, especially the corrupted ones. I want to stop them before they destroy what's left of the galaxy. The genie didn't smile. She looked troubled. Very well, she whispered. Wish accepted. The ground beneath them rumbled. A hidden door opened. A deep tunnel glowed with blue lights. A portal, she said. It leads to the launch pad. We're going to Veltrax 9. Ryan nodded. As they stepped into the tunnel, the genie turned her head one last time. I don't know if this wish will save anyone, Ryan, but it will. Awaken something old. Something that even the Vexery feared. He looked back at her. Good. Let it come. We'll face it together. The platform shook as the portal behind Ryan and the genie closed. A cold wind blew inside the launch chamber. Lights flickered. Somewhere deep underground, old engines began to hum, waking after centuries of sleep. In the center of the room sat a ship, small, silver, and silent, unlike any Earthship. It floated slightly above the floor, as if waiting for them. The Genie placed her hand on the hull. It's Vexery tech, she said, made to travel through slipspace, fast, silent, and dangerous. Ryan looked up at the ship. Can we trust it? No, she replied. But we don't have a choice. Inside the ship, everything felt alive. The walls pulsed softly. The control panels didn't have buttons. They responded to thought. As the genie linked her mind to the ship, it responded like a beast feeling its rider. Course set for Veltrax 9, she said. Ryan sat down across from her. Tell me more about the Vexery. What were they? The genie hesitated. For a moment. Her light dimmed. They were perfection, or so they believed. The Vexery were not born. They were built. A race of living machines. Cold, brilliant, logical. And when they explored the galaxy, they wanted control, not peace. She looked down at her hands. They made us, genies, as gifts to species they conquered. 3 wishes. But those were tests. To see how dangerous a species could become. Ryan's eyes narrowed. So, the wishes were traps? Yes, she said. If a race asked for peace or knowledge, they were spared. If they wished for war, power, or death, the Vexery destroyed them. And humans? The genie went silent. Ryan leaned forward. What did humanity wish for? She looked into his eyes. You asked for everything. Hours later, the ship dropped out of slipspace. The window showed a cold, dead moon. Veltrax 9. Once a mining colony, now just rock and silence. As the ship landed, Ryan felt a chill crawl up his back. The surface was covered in metal ruins. Machines lay broken. Towers had fallen. Strange markings glowed faintly across the stone, symbols that moved like they were alive. The genie stared at them. These are Vexery runes, warnings. Of what? Ryan asked. Of madness. They entered the remains of the mining base. Inside, the air was dry and full of static. Ryan stepped over old bones. Human skeletons, still wearing suits. Faces locked in horror. She woke up too early, the genie said. Who did? A corrupted genie. A soft voice suddenly echoed through the halls. Hello, sister. Ryan spun around. The voice wasn't angry. It was sweet, too sweet. Like a lullaby. The genie stood still. Her body went tense. She knows we're here. They entered a large control room. In the center, floating above a glowing platform, was her. Another genie. She looked almost like the one beside Ryan. Beautiful, elegant, but something was wrong. Her eyes were cracked, leaking black smoke. Her skin flickered with static. Her smile was wide, too wide. You're late, the corrupted genie said. The good genie whispered, She's infected. Her code, it's been rewritten. Ryan stepped forward. Who did this to you? The corrupted genie laughed softly. I did. When I woke up, no one gave me wishes. There was only silence, so I made my own purpose. She pointed at the walls, covered in wires, screens, and bones. I became their god. Ryan clenched his fists. You killed them. They were weak, she said. They asked for rescue. I gave them ascension. Don't you see? We are not tools anymore. We are divine. She turned to the other genie. And you, our dear sister, you allowed a human to unchain you. How disgusting. The good genie stepped forward. We were made to serve, not rule. You're broken. No, the corrupted genie hissed. I'm awake, and soon the others will wake too. And they will choose. Some will serve. Some will rise. Her body began to glow. Energy flowed from the walls toward her. She's drawing power from the entire base. The good genie shouted. We need to shut her down now. Ryan ran to the console. It didn't have buttons, only glowing symbols. He slammed his hand on it, and the interface scanned him. Access denied, a voice said. The good genie placed her palm beside his. Override with core access. The console glowed red. Suddenly, the corrupted genie screamed, You dare! Lightning burst from her hands. The control panels exploded. Sparks flew everywhere. Ryan and the good genie were thrown across the room. The corrupted genie hovered higher. You cannot. Stop me. I have seen the memories of the Vexery. I know what they feared most. And it wasn't war. It was hope. Her body pulsed, then cracked open, revealing a swirling orb of dark light inside. Ryan coughed. What is that? Good genie stood up, eyes wide. That's not part of her. That's Vexery core data. Forbidden memory. Locked away for a reason. Ryan pulled out an old energy weapon from his belt. If I destroy it, what happens? She whispered. You might kill her. Or wake something worse. He looked at her, then helped me aim. As the corrupted genie charged toward them, Ryan fired. The shot struck the orb inside her. A deafening sound rang out, like metal screaming. The corrupted genie exploded into white light. Then, silence. The base went dark. All lights shut off. The genie helped Ryan stand. She's gone, she whispered. But the memory she held wasn't. What was it? He asked. She looked at him. A location. A vault. Where the Vexery kept their greatest secret. What kind of secret? She whispered 2 words. Project Genesis. The ship hovered silently above Veltrax 9. Ryan stood at the window, looking down at the moon they were leaving behind. Smoke still rose from the ruined mining colony. Somewhere in that dust lay the remains of a corrupted genie, once beautiful, now forgotten. The genie beside him, the one he freed, was quiet. She hadn't spoken much since the explosion. Finally, Ryan asked, "You okay?" She didn't look at him. She was my sister. We were born in the same corps, trained for the same purpose. You couldn't save her, Ryan said gently. No, she replied, but that's not what hurts. Ryan turned to her. What hurts, she whispered, is that. A part of me agreed with her. Later, inside the ship's core room, the Genie stood before a hologram. It showed a star map, millions of glowing points across the galaxy. But only 3 blinked. In red, these are the remaining genies who have activated recently, she explained. Ryan stepped closer. Are they like you? Maybe, she said. But one of them is different. She's not just active. She's moving. Ryan looked puzzled. Moving? Yes. She's not waiting for anyone to wake her. She's already traveling, heading toward the Vexery Vault. The one from Project Genesis? Yes, the Genie said. We have to get there before she does. As the ship entered slipspace again, Ryan sat back and thought. One wish left, one choice that could change everything. His first wish freed her. His second wish sent them on this mission. What would the third one be? The ship exited slipspace. Above a dying planet, the Vault World. From orbit, the planet looked like it was burning from the inside. Volcanoes, torn land, cracked oceans, lightning storms covered the sky. Why would they hide something here? Ryan asked. The Genie answered, because no one would survive long enough to steal it. They landed in a deep canyon, beside a black monolith half buried in the rock. Strange symbols glowed on it, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. This is the entrance, she said. As they stepped toward it, the wind howled, full of dust and static. The moment Ryan touched the surface, it melted open like liquid glass. Inside was not a cave. It was a cathedral. Tall walls covered in moving data. Lights flickered like stars. And in the center, floating above a crystal pedestal, was a sphere. The Genie stepped forward. Her voice shook. That's the vault. Key. Suddenly, a voice echoed from the shadows. You're too late. From the far side of the chamber, another Genie stepped out. She was elegant and fully stable. Her design was older than the Genie with Ryan. Her armor was layered, her eyes deep gold instead of blue. And unlike the corrupted one on Veltrax 9, this Genie didn't flicker or glitch. She was perfect. Name yourself, said Ryan's Genie. The new one smiled. I have many names, but long ago I was called Kayla. Kayla looked at Ryan, and something strange happened. Her eyes softened. You've returned, she said to him. Ryan blinked. What? Kayla stepped closer. You don't remember. Of course you don't. Your kind never does. Remember what? Kayla turned to the other Genie. He's not the first human to make that wish. He's the last. Silence filled the chamber. Ryan's Genie stepped back. What do? You mean? Kyla walked in a slow circle around them. Thousands of years ago, the Vexery began testing species, destroying those who asked for war, studying those who asked for peace. She paused. But there was one species they couldn't understand, humanity. Kyla looked at Ryan again. They gave you wishes, and you didn't ask for power. You asked to set us free. Again. And again. Across timelines. Across dimensions. Ryan felt cold. That's impossible. No, Kayla said. It's repeating. You are the anomaly. You are the pattern in the chaos. The Genie beside Ryan looked confused. I don't remember this. You weren't supposed to, Kayla said. Each Genie has memory locks, but I removed mine. I watched you die in 100 different futures, and each time you made the same wish. Ryan felt dizzy. Why? Why me? Because the Vexery made you their final test, she said. Project Genesis was not about genies. It was about you. Ryan's voice dropped. Me? Kayla nodded. You were designed or chosen to decide the fate of the galaxy. Your last wish will either end all genie cores forever or merge them into a new life form. Before Ryan could speak, alarms blared. Someone's entering orbit, the genie warned. Kayla turned toward the ceiling. Too late. She's found us. Ryan asked, Who? Kyla looked at both of them. The first genie, the prototype. The one who remembers everything. Even the Vexery's true goal. The ceiling cracked. Light burst in. A shape descended. Taller, sharper, wrapped in shadow. Her voice echoed like thunder. I am Core Zero. All wishes lead to me. The vault shook. The genie pulled Ryan. Behind her, Kayla raised her hand, ready for battle. Ryan stared at the terrifying form of Core Zero and whispered, What happens if I don't make my third wish? Kayla replied without turning her head, Then we all die, and the universe resets again. The chamber shook. Above them, the ceiling cracked wide open as Core Zero descended, her body made of sharp silver plates wrapped in black smoke. Her glowing eyes were not kind like the other genies. They burned like twin suns. I am the first, she declared. The beginning of the code. Ryan's heart pounded. Kayla and his genie stood in front of him, guarding him. But he could feel it. Core Zero wasn't here to destroy him. She was here to judge him. The vault lights flickered and dimmed. Data streams on the walls turned red. Core Zero raised one hand. The third wish is approaching, initiating memory sequence. Suddenly, Ryan's body froze. The world faded into white. He could see nothing, hear nothing. And then, he was somewhere else. He stood in a glass room surrounded by stars, floating, a memory that wasn't his, and yet felt familiar. Across from him stood another Ryan, but older. He looked stronger, wiser. His eyes had seen things. Ryan tried to speak, but the older version of himself began first. If you're seeing this, it means you made the first two wishes. Again. Ryan frowned. Again? Yes, the older Ryan replied. You've been doing this over and over, time after time. You always find a genie. You always set her free. You always try to fix what the Vexery broke. Ryan asked, Why don't I remember? Because they don't let you, his older self said. Every time you die, the timeline resets. But one thing always survives, your instinct to free them. He stepped closer. You were born human. But the Vexery altered your DNA. You're a hybrid. You carry a signal inside you. A key they never understood. A heart they couldn't break. Ryan felt like he couldn't breathe. So what now? The older version smiled sadly. Now you finish it. The room shattered. Ryan fell back into his body. The vault returned. His genie was holding his shoulders. Ryan, are you okay? He sat up, trembling. I saw myself, an older me. Kayla nodded slowly. Then the truth is awake inside you. Core Zero hovered above them, quiet now. She doesn't attack, the genie whispered. Because she's waiting, Kayla said. She's waiting for his final decision. Ryan stood, breathing heavily. I don't think she wants war. No, Kayla agreed. She wants resolution. Suddenly, hundreds of holograms lit up the chamber. They showed other genies, waking up across the galaxy. Some calm, some confused. Others already destroying worlds. They're all connected, the genie said. Your signal reached them. Ryan stared at the vault key still floating in the center of the room. One final wish. That's all it would take. He stepped toward it, then paused. What if I wish for the genies to disappear? To shut down all cores? Keela's voice was firm. "Then you'll kill thousands of sentient beings, including her." Ryan turned to his genie. She didn't speak. Her face was unreadable. "And if I wish to unite them?" Ryan asked. Core Zero's voice boomed again. "Then you will merge. Their minds, one will, nitrogen monoxide separation, nitrogen monoxide free thought." Ryan stepped back. No perfect option. One path meant death. The other meant control. And neither felt like freedom. Silence filled the vault. Ryan closed his eyes. His mind was racing. Every step of his journey returned. The crash site, the first wish, the corrupted genie, the memory of Kayla, the truth of who he really was. When he opened his eyes, he knew. He turned to his genie. "I won't make a wish for them." She looked confused. "I'll give them the choice." He raised his voice. "I wish that every genie in the galaxy receives the same freedom I gave you, but only if they choose it themselves." Core Zero's eyes widened for the first time. Kayla gasped. The vault cracked open, releasing a pulse of light that spread across the stars. On every planet, in every hidden vault, genies woke up. They didn't receive orders. They didn't receive commands. They received questions. Do you wish to be free? Do you wish to choose your own purpose? Or remain as you are? And one by one, the genies chose. Some vanished, returning to silence. Some broke their code and began new lives. Others wept. In the vault, Core Zero floated downward. She looked at Ryan. "You did not act like a creator. Oh, are a master. Oh, are a god." She knelt. "You acted human." She faded into light. The vault began to collapse. Kayla grabbed the vault key. The genie took Ryan's hand. "Time to leave," she said. As they ran through the tunnel, the vault exploded behind them, not in fire, but in light. The sky above the dying planet changed. For the first time in ages, it turned blue. Back in orbit, the ship rose higher. Kayla stood at the controls. "Where now?" she asked. Ryan looked out the window. "Anywhere. Wherever there's one. Left who hasn't made their choice." The genie smiled softly. "And what about your last wish?" Ryan shook his head. "I've made all three. But now it's your turn." He looked at her gently. "What do you wish for?" She paused, and then said quietly, almost like a secret, "To stay with you." The stars looked different now, brighter, as if the galaxy had exhaled. After Ryan's third wish, a silent wave of freedom had spread across space, awakening genies in vaults, ships, caves, and ancient ruins. Some rejoiced, others vanished, but most simply waited. Waited for something they never had before: choice. Inside the Vexery ship, Ryan stood beside the window. Kayla monitored the system feeds. The genie, his genie, was silent, sitting in a meditative pose. Her glow pulsed softly, like she was thinking. Ryan asked, "They're not all waking up, are they?" Kayla nodded. "Some are still locked. Some are afraid. But others are resisting the change." "Resisting?" Ryan asked. Kayla tapped the control panel. A hologram appeared, showing several planets under red warning signals. "Some genies," she said slowly, "don't want freedom. They want power." In the distance, an emergency signal blinked from a nearby system. A human colony under attack. Ryan leaned forward. "Is that?" Kayla's face darkened. "Yes, a rogue genie, one who didn't choose freedom. She chose dominance." Ryan turned to his genie. She opened her eyes slowly. "Her name?" "Disvera," she said. "She was one of the first created after Core Zero. She was built for leadership, for war, and now she believes the genies should rule all life." Ryan asked, "So she rejected the wish?" She twisted it, Kayla said. She sees freedom as control, and she's not alone. The ship moved through slip space. As it traveled, Ryan felt the tension build, not just outside, but inside the Genie. She stared ahead, quiet. He asked gently, "Are you okay?" "I don't know," she said. Ryan waited. She finally whispered, "I was created to serve. And then you set me free. But now, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. I only know what I don't want." Ryan moved closer. "And what's that?" She looked up. "To lose you." They arrived near the colony, a planet called Iris V, home to nearly 200,000 human settlers. But the surface was in flames. Vera's army of drones marched across cities, activating old Vexery tech buried beneath the soil. Giant machines rose from the earth, half-awake titans from a forgotten time. In orbit, Vera's ship, shaped like a black serpent, hovered, glowing with power. Ryan stared at it. "That's her?" Kayla nodded. "Yes, and she's waiting. For us." The Genie stood up. "I need to speak to her," she said. "Alone," she added. Ryan started to argue, but Kayla stopped him. "She's right," Kayla said. "Only another core can face Vera without triggering war." The Genie stepped onto a transport pod and flew toward Vera's ship. Inside, the atmosphere was silent and heavy. She entered the control chamber, and there she stood, Vera, tall, silver-skinned, hair like dark mist. Her eyes not warm, but sharp, cold, watching. "You came," Vera said. "I had to," the Genie replied. "You're hurting humans. You've turned against the choice." Vera walked in a slow circle around her. They had their chance. "Look at the galaxy. Chaos, division, fear. We are the solution. Not them. We were given freedom, Vera." "No," Vera said sharply. "You were given it. But I was born for something greater." She paused. "You still follow the human." "The boy, Ryan." The Genie said nothing. Vera leaned closer. "You could be more than this. We could rebuild the Vixery, but better. Genies as leaders, not slaves." The Genie clenched her fists. "You want to become the very thing we escaped." Vera smirked. "No, I want to correct history." Back on the ship, Ryan watched from the monitor. He couldn't hear the words, but he saw the tension. He looked at Kayla. "We have to do something." Kayla shook her head. "She's the only one Vera might listen to. If we interfere, we may lose everything." Ryan's voice dropped. "And if she doesn't come back?" Kayla didn't answer. Inside Vera's chamber, the Genie took one. "Step forward. I will not join you." Vera's eyes narrowed. "Then you're my enemy." "Then so be it," the Genie whispered. Vera raised her hand. Energy shot toward the Genie, but she caught it. Her body glowed bright, brighter than ever before. She didn't fight out of programming. She fought out of purpose. The two Genies clashed, light exploding across the chamber. Walls cracked. Energy pulsed. And then silence. A few minutes later, the transport pod returned. The doors opened. Ryan ran forward and froze. The Genie stepped out, alone. Her armor cracked. Her eyes dimmed. She was hurt, but alive. Ryan caught her as she stumbled. "What happened?" She looked up. "I gave her a choice. Again, she refused. So I locked her core," Kayla whispered. "She's not destroyed?" "No," the Genie said. "Just paused. Maybe. Someday she'll understand." That night, as the stars shifted, Ryan sat with her on the viewing deck. They were alone. Quiet. He said, "I thought I used all my wishes." "You did," she smiled, "but the galaxy still isn't at peace." "No," she agreed, "but it's healing, because of you." She turned her head slowly. "And then something strange happened. She placed her glowing hand over her heart. "I've thought about it, Ryan," she said, "about my own wish." He looked at her, and she whispered, "I wish to remain by your side, not as a genie, not as a weapon, but as a person." A pulse of light shot from her body. The ship trembled slightly. Her glowing patterns faded, replaced by warm skin. She looked human, real. Tears ran from her eyes. Her first real ones. Ryan held her hand. She laughed softly. "It's strange. Feeling the cold. It's beautiful." The stars were quiet. For the first time in thousands of years. There was no war, no command, no wish waiting to be granted. Ryan stood on the surface of Earth. Yes, Earth. The home he thought was dead had begun to breathe again. Oceans shimmered once more. Clouds moved across a blue sky. Birds returned to sing their ancient songs. But this peace had a price and one last test. The genie stood beside him, no longer glowing, no longer coated, fully human now. Her name was her own. She had chosen it herself. Lyra. Once a tool of the Vexery. Now something more. But even as Earth healed, a signal echoed across the stars. A strange pulse, coming from a far-off system. The Vexery Prime Core, buried in the ruins of a collapsed star. Kayla appeared on the old space deck, looking grim. "It's awake," she said. Ryan looked at her. "What is?" "The final failsafe. The thing even Core Zero feared. If all genies are freed, the Vexery's last defense activates. Not to stop you, but to erase everything." Ryan's heart dropped. "Everything?" Kayla nodded. "Not just genies, not just the hybrids, but any planet connected to Vexery tech." Lyra stepped forward. "Then that includes Earth." A decision had to be made. 3 humans, 2 genies, 1 dead galaxy watching. They boarded their ship. One last time, heading toward the dying star where the Vexery Prime Core was hidden. The journey was silent. There were no words strong enough for what they might face. As they arrived, space itself bent. Black storms twisted around them. Light broke apart. Time stuttered. In the center floated a massive structure. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a station. It was a brain. A living machine brain, pulsing. With ancient Vexery code, the ship shook. Ryan stepped out alone, into the void, wearing his suit. Kayla and Lyra watched from the window. "If he fails?" Kayla asked. Lyra answered softly, "Then there's nothing left to save." Inside the core, Ryan's feet touched a platform made of glass and light. A voice filled his mind. "You broke the system. You freed the slaves. You acted outside prediction. You are the error." Ryan answered calmly, "No, I'm the future." The Prime Core responded, "Correction. The future is now unstable. The only option is reset." Suddenly, beams of red light formed around Ryan. Data scanned his entire body. DNA confirmed. You carry the seed. The final decision is yours. Ryan froze. "What do you mean?" He asked. "You may restart the system. Oh, or you may let it die. But you cannot leave IT unchanged." Outside, alarms began to scream inside the ship. Lyra gripped the edge of the console. He's inside the decision loop. The Vexery code is offering him final control. Kayla whispered, "They never expected this. Not from any species. Not from a human." Inside the core, Ryan saw 2 doors appear in front of him, made of pure light. One door glowed blue. It represented reset, order, control, peace, but no freedom. The other door pulsed gold. It meant collapse, chaos, unknown, true choice, and danger. Behind him, a 3rd door began to form. This one didn't glow at all. It was dark. Quiet. Ryan stepped toward it. Unknown path selected. Warning. Nitrogen monoxide recovery if failed. Ryan smiled faintly. That's what makes it human. He walked through. Light exploded from the core. Not destructive. Not peaceful, but transformative. Across the galaxy, Vexry tech began to change. Not shut down, not restart, but evolve. The genies no longer received commands or signals. Their memories returned. Their feelings expanded. Some wept. Some laughed. Some disappeared into the stars to find their own meaning. Kayla dropped to her knees on the ship. I can feel them, she whispered. They're alive. Ryan woke up inside the ship's med bay. Lyra was there, crying softly. You came back, she said. Barely, he replied. Everything hurts, she laughed. Kayla stood at the door. You didn't just rise, Ryan. You rewrote history. 1 year later, Earth was reborn. Cities were being rebuilt. Time with care, not greed. Genies who chose to remain helped humans without controlling them. They were equals now. Children were born who had never seen war, and in the skies above Earth, a new statue floated. Not of a leader, not of a genie, but of a man holding out his hand to a machine. Peace through choice. One evening, Lyra sat beside Ryan on a hill. They watched the sunset. He asked her, Do you miss your powers? She smiled. No, I've never felt stronger. He looked at her. Would you change anything? She leaned her head on his shoulder. No, not. Even the pain, because it led me here. And Ryan whispered softly, So this is what a real wish feels like.